Hello everyone, very good morning and welcome back to Crack Grade B. So let's start our Ministry of Social Justice related schemes, right? As we have already discussed in our previous classes, this is going to be a large lecture, a large series of lecture. Why? Because there are so many schemes that has been launched by Ministry of Social Justice that we need to cover. Fine. So very good morning. So with that, now let's start. Can you guys tell me that what was the last scheme that we were talking upon? Do you remember that what was the last scheme on which we were having a discussion? Anyone? Yes, good morning. This was the last scheme that we were having a discussion upon, right? So yes, very good, Monica. So this is what we were having a discussion on. Why I have again opened this so that we can pick up from wherever we have left. Okay. So understand this thing over here. This was the scheme that was for the development of the scheduled caste people, right? There were three schemes that were taken under this consideration. One is special central assistance. Then we were having Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Yojana, and lastly we were having Babu Jagjeevan Ram Chhatravas Yojana. Chhatravas Yojana was specifically for the your hostel related component, right? So once we know that these are the components, now we are going to move ahead and we are going to discuss from where we have left, right? So this development of SC villages that we have already seen, right? Now I'm going to start from here. The second component called as a Grand Senate for district or state level projects for socio-economic betterment of the SC STs, right? So what kind of grants we are going to give, to whom we are going to give, that we are going to see one by one over here. Just please be with me because this scheme is particularly a large one, and after that whatever schemes we are going to see, those will be a shorter one. This scheme, because it has taken under its component three schemes, that's why the component has to be a bit larger to study. So number one, what are the objectives? Why we are giving the grants in aid? To object income, increase the income, improve adequate infrastructure, right? Then talking about literacy, and we want to increase the enrollment of SC children in the school as well as the higher education centers. What kind of projects will be conducted under here? So let's see one by one. Very quickly we are going to cover. Number one is your comprehensive livelihood project. Fine. Next is skill development projects, under which at least 10% of the release funds will be given. Grants for creation acquisition of assets for the beneficiaries household. If you are creating the asset for an individual household, then the amount that you are going to provide, it will be 50,000 or 50% of the asset cost, whichever is less. What kind of assets? Livelihood related asset. If any capital asset you are going to construct, then this is the amount of benefit that you are going to give to the person. Infrastructure development of infrastructure. Next is other infrastructure development. Under this you can use 30% of the funds that has been released. And lastly you have got the residential school component. Under residential school component, please notice one thing. Here they are saying that ministry is not going to provide any recurring expenses. That means ministry is only going to provide you the capital related expenses, whatever your capital costs are. Fine. For that component, it has been said that the amount will be released in 3 installments. 20% will be given upfront and 80% will be given later on. But there is one condition. What is that one condition? That the residential school you should be able to complete within a period of 27 months. right? This is the criteria. Please remember this 27 months criteria because you are going to witness this later on in this scheme as well. Fine. The next component is for the tutoring for the children who are from class 9 to 12. That is also included over here. Now, who are eligible for these particular grants related to livelihood? Fine. What I am trying to say over here, just now we talked that we are going to construct infrastructure, we are going to provide the livelihood related project, we are going to provide beneficiaries. If any kind of project they undertake, we are going to support them. So which kind of beneficiaries are eligible for this? So this is what is being mentioned. No fixed income limits. Priority will be given to those families who are having annual income more than 2.5 lakh. SHGs having SC majority members will also be eligible, and SC dominated villages will be eligible. So you see over here you are not giving any kind of subsidy or any kind of incentive. You are spending the amount on the infrastructure development which is going to create the livelihood. Hence, you are witnessing some amount of changes in the eligibility. Fine. Next, under this particular scheme of infrastructure development, we have some component for the women as well as the northeast people. We have specified some of the components of this scheme for them. Up to 15% of the total grants which will be released to the state or UT, they are going to be utilized for the programs of SC women. At least 30% women candidates should be there in skill development program. Any skill development program that you might be doing, 30% of candidates should be women. This is the mandate. After that, 2% of the budget is also going to be preserved for the northeastern states. We are having a special focus on them. We want to provide a special kind of funding for them, and hence whatever funding we might be having, we are going to keep some part safe for our northeastern states, right? Now after that, we are going to start talking about construction, repair of educational hostels. Education hostels for the SC students. What was the earlier scheme for this? So Babu Jagjeevan Ram Chhatravas Yojana was the earlier scheme for this. Now this component has been submerged under this PM Ajay. Hence, we are talking about it over here. What you are going to see over here? So you are going to see that what is the government benefit that government is giving for the construction as well as for the repair of any existing hostels which are there for the SC students. Okay. Now, who all are the eligibility? Means, first of all, let's see which educational institutions are eligible for this. So, higher educational institutions which are top ranked as per the NIRF framework. NIRF framework, I hope you all are aware. There is also a QS ranking which is given for the universities all over the world. As per that format, we have came up with our NIRF ranking. Under NIRF ranking, we give the ranks to the educational institutions which are there in India. Fine. And for them, if there are top rated educational institutions who are there on the top ranking of NIRF, such institutions are eligible for construction of hostel in their premises for the SC students. Okay. Who all are going to be the implementing agencies? Your universities are going to be the implementing agencies. Now for the construction of new hostel, what is the requirement? So first of all, new hostel or the expansion of existing hostel, priority will be given for the areas which are having SC population of 15% or more. See, first condition what you kept, that the educational institutions which are highly ranked in the NIRF, we are going to give this funding to them. Understood. But in those institutions also, you might be having some institutions which are there in an area where SC population is more than 15%, right? So this particular scheme says that we are going to target those areas first. Priority to top performance school colleges not having any hostel at present. Those who are not having any particular hostel. Areas which are having low female SC literacy, going to target them, as well as the capacity cannot exceed 100 students. The same limit was there under the earlier scheme as well, that was Babu Jagjeevan Ram Yojana, right? So same thing was there as well, and same thing is here as well. Now what are the cost norms? The department, the ministry is going to provide you the 100% funding. Now as per areas the funding differs. For northeastern region 3.5 lakh is the funding for inmates. For northern Himalayan regions 3.25 lakhs, and for the rest of the countries 3 lakhs. Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, etc., etc. Now you see the funding has decreased. Why? Because creating an infrastructure in a hilly area, in a difficult area, is a more difficult component. That is why more funding is given to the northeastern areas, right? I guess here it must be except. Next is one-time grant. Now one-time grant will be given, that is the 5,000 rupees per student. Why these 5,000 rupees per student will be given? So that student can purchase for themselves cot, table, chair, etc. like common facilities. Not very important, you can choose to skip this. Now repairs of hostels. So repairs of hostels will be provided, this particular assistance, but once in 5 years. Okay, once in 5 years it will be provided. Maximum amount 10 lakh rupees for 100 inmates. This is the amount, and 5 lakh rupees for the 50 inmates, like that. 15 lakh rupees for 150 inmates. This ratio will be there. On the basis of this ratio, the funding will be provided for any kind of repairs that the institution might want to have. These particular hostels, they should be completed within a period of 27. I have already told you. Related to livelihood projects where we were giving the grants in aid to states or UT, at that particular time also I told you that the project must be completed within 27 months, right? So this is the time limit that we have. And after that, some advisory committees at different level. What you have to remember is, this is going to be important, right? So there is a central advisory committee, it will be headed, the question can be, under PMJ there is a central advisory committee, it is headed by whom? Correct? So wherever some prominent person comes and he heads the position, that becomes important for us. So in this case, Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, he is going to head the Central Advisory Committee. Hence, this piece of information becomes vital for us. At the state level, it is going to be headed by the State Minister, whosoever is there for Social Justice and Empowerment, right? Only that much is important. Then there are some village level convergence committee which are going to be headed by the Sarpanch and Pradhan. Not very important, but yes, you can have an idea about it. Now next is social audit. Please try to understand one thing. Social audit is a concept, right? It is a concept of what? That whatever work is being carried out in an area, it is going to be monitored, it is going to be taken care of by the society people who are living over there. What do I mean by this? That means all these people who are going to get benefited from the society's development, society's infrastructure development, they have got an what you can say, obligation to come and see that what work has been performed. That is called as social audit. So the point that I was going to tell you over here is, social audit has got its recognition from this act. National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. This was the first act which talked about social audit. This was the first act which said that social audit should be mandatory in government projects. So all these fields, all these government projects, wherever social audit is being used, the statutory recognition to the social audit has been given from the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, right? Obviously, there is just a mention. We do not have a separate legislation which talks about social audit. which talks about social audit in detail, but still we just have a mention in this particular act and we are happy with that. Fine. Now the next scheme that we have is called as वंचित इकाई समूह और वर्गों को आर्थिक सहायता योजना, विश्वास योजना फॉर SC and OBC, right? So again, like I have already told you that whenever you are reading such kind of schemes which are having a very different mnemonic for remembering, please remember them and please also remember them then that which one is the target area over here. So for Vishwas Yojana, this is the target Yojana for SC and OBC. What we are going to provide under this? We are going to give them the interest subvention. Interest subvention means suppose they have taken any loan for any income generating activity. Income generating activity means suppose SC and OBC people, they have taken a loan for starting a business. Okay, they have started a business. So if they have taken loan because of this regard, then government is going to give them the interest subvention. Interest subvention means if your interest rate on loan is 13%, suppose your interest rate on loan is 13%, then 5% will be waived off for you. You do not have to give the 5%. Thus, remaining 13 minus 5, just 8% will be the effective interest cost for you. This is the meaning of interest subvention and this is what we are going to do under the Vishwas Yojana. Fine. So, this scheme, interest subvention will be provided to self-help groups with 100% scheduled caste membership. Those self-help groups जिसमें सारे के सारे scheduled caste people हैं, and if that group has taken loan for various income generating activities from lending institution, banks, etc., right? So your regional rural banks, financial institutions, etc., etc. So interest subvention will be provided to them. Now there is just a little bit of caveat over here. Such institution should have signed the memorandum of agreement with this National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation. You are going to see the name of this particular organization various times. Why? Because this is a nodal agency for development of scheduled caste. We have made this organization so that it can provide the support to all the scheduled caste related schemes that we are developing. I hope you have understood. Okay. Now, next talking about who all are the lending institutions. You all know your banks, etc. They are going to be the lending institution. What is the objective of this particular scheme? So objective is that we want to provide the direct benefit for the lower rate of interest to the SHGs under National Rural Livelihood Mission, National Urban Livelihood Mission. What was the complete name of this National Urban Livelihood Mission and National Rural Livelihood Mission? These has been named after a very renowned individual. Do you remember? Anyone? Very good, Monica. Yes. So these are those schemes. We have read under Deen Dayal Upadhyay, National Urban Livelihood Mission, National Rural Livelihood Mission. Fine. You have to also tell me that NULM comes under which ministry and NRLM comes under which ministry. Whenever we are watching any particular scheme, you also have to see that it comes under which ministry. That is very important part. I'm not very sure that you guys know about it right now or not, but still, please have an idea about it, okay? Now, see over here what we were talking about. NULM, NRLM, they both focus on the creation of self-help groups. So, can you just, because this scheme is a short one, so I'll just take a moment. Why self-help groups are important? Suppose I am an individual, I have taken a loan, fine. So, as at some time, I might not be in the capacity to repay it, correct? But when I am in a group, in a self-help group, all the people are going to help me. Fine. And suppose If I am not in the condition of repaying the bank loan, then the other people of group might help me to repay my loan. So that is why banks are also very keen to give the loans to these self-help groups. Why? Because the default, it reduced in case of your self-help groups. Okay, now let's see implementing agencies. Who all are the implementing agencies? National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation, because we are talking about scheduled caste, hence this organization has to be here. After that, we also have backward classes in this scheme. So National Backward Class Finance and Development Corporation will also come. Remember that a similar kind of organization is there for the scheduled tribes as well. Fine. That is called as National Scheduled Tribe Finance and Development Corporation. Good, Gaurav. Now next is, just wait for a second. Wait for a second. So sorry for the interruption. Let's continue. So modalities for transfer of interest subvention, what we have modalities over here. See, interest subvention of 5% per annum will be released, correct, on the Vishwas portal. Obviously, like other government schemes, we have made a component for this as well, right? Your lending institutions, they have to provide all the details on this particular portal, that to all beneficiaries we have given the loans in this particular time, right? So interest subvention will be given accordingly. That now next is eligibility, which particular self-help groups these are eligible. Let's see over here. So all SHGs which has been formed under NRLM, NULM and fulfilling eligibility, they are going to get the interest subvention. Now, what is the eligibility? This is the maximum limit. Please remember this, up to 4 lakh rupees. After that, these self-help groups should belong to either SCs or OBCs. And one more thing I would like to remind you over here, we are talking about 100% membership. All the 100% people should belong to scheduled caste or OBC. That is our requirement. After that, they should be registered with the NRLM, NULM or NABARD. This must be the registration. They should be having 2 years of credit history. Annual family income should be less than 3 lakhs. Those all who are the SHG members, they should not be having annual family income over and above 3 lakhs. They should have history of timely repayment, and apart from that, they should not have taken such kind of benefit under any other scheme. A general condition. After that, we have for individual beneficiaries also we have something. So remember two things over here, not just for the SHGs, for any individual, SC individual or OBC individual, if they want to start any particular income generating activity, then we have interest subvention component for themselves as well. So all individual members who are having annual family income less than 3 lakh rupees belonging to either SC or OBC, they will be eligible for the interest subvention on the loan up to rupees 2 lakh at 5% interest per annum. So this is going to be the maximum limit of the loan. Loan, if see, Understand this. Your lending institutions, they can provide any amount of loan to SCs and OBCs. But if you want to take the benefit of interest subvention under Vishwas portal, then the loans up to 2 lakh rupees are only covered. And you can also link it with the following thing, that all those people who are having an income of less than 3 lakhs, correct? So those people cannot be granted a loan for a higher amount. That is such out of a box thing, right? So this is what we had to study under your Vishwas thing, Vishwas scheme. Next is Atal Vayo Abhyuday Yojana. So all these Abhyuday Yojanas, they have been made by merging the some existing schemes. I have already told you, in India we have got plenty of schemes with us, right? What is actually required is that we should be giving a submergence for them. Why? Because see, having different schemes with similar kind of components actually does not yields any kind of result, because there is division of funds, there is division of functionary. So it is always a better practice that we combine these schemes together. So this is what we are talking about, Atal Vayo Abhyuday Yojana. What were the two schemes that has been combined over here? Number one is what you have called as a National Action Plan for senior citizen. Please look at the short form very clearly, because we are going to use this short form quite a few times now on, right? And next is we have got Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana. So under this particular Yojana, we are going to give the assistance to all those senior citizens which are dealing with specific kind of disabilities. So these two schemes are there. Now these two schemes have been merged. We call them as Atal Vayo Abhyuday Yojana from now onwards, from the financial year 2021 to 2022 onwards. So what is the background? This is just a little bit of background. Right now we have 8.4% of the senior citizen population in our country, but going forward it is going to increase to 14.9%. okay, so objective of this particular scheme is that we want to provide every kind of possible care to our senior citizens, ranging from the financial, social, recreational, required opportunities, etc., etc. We want to provide them every recourse. Now, from where the funding is going to come? This is a general thing. This is the general objective, that we want to provide them food, shelter, clothing, recreation, opportunities, resources, etc., etc. But at the same time, from where the funding is going to come? So it is going to be fully financed, 100% funded by the central government from the Senior Citizen Welfare Fund. This welfare fund was envisaged under the policy that we were having for the senior citizens. So you can remember this. This scheme was having the component from 2020-2022 onwards. It is released by Social Justice and Empowerment. Next, what are the components under this particular scheme? So we are going to read all the components. Hence, it will be great that if you have a look at it. All the components will be read by us. Number one is shelter and health for the senior citizens. Under that, we are having the two components. Say both of the components we are going to read. Next is health and nutrition support for the elders. So under that, we are going to include our Anganwadis as well for providing the nutrition support. Thirdly, you have Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana. Then livelihood and skilling for the senior citizens, that component is also there. National helpline, there is a helpline number which is provided. If the senior citizens are in the any kind of distress, then they can contact. Promoting silver economy, this word is, I guess, I hope that you all are aware about it. What does silver economy means? And because sometimes what happens is, in the examination they can ask the one word question like that, okay, what is the meaning of silver economy? Fine, and then they will be giving you 4-5 options, and out of that you will be confused. So please remember, silver economy is related to the utilization of experience that our senior citizens are having, right? We all know that there is a age of retirement at 60, but we also know that even after 60 years of age, senior citizens, they have a lot of experience with themselves, and they can prove a very great resource for our economy. So we should plan some post retirement employment opportunities as well, where we can utilize their experiences. Fine. So this is what called as the silver economy. And then we have got another component called as the channelization of CSR funds for the elderly care, right? So these are the important components that we'll be studying under this particular scheme. Let's begin. So first of all, what we have is called as shelter and health for the senior citizens. Now you are going to see that how we are going to provide the support under this. So under this particular scheme, financial assistance will be provided state duty governments, NGOs, registered societies, etc., etc. For what? For if they develop shelter for the senior citizens. Next is financial assistance will be provided under the National Action Plan for the senior citizens. Right? What kind of financial assistance will be provided? To the existing senior citizens home, we are going to provide. New senior citizens home, we can also provide. Now one requirement that is there is an act for senior citizens as well. Can you also tell me, I have a question to make. Do you remember that in which year we have passed an act for the disabled people? Do we have an act for disabled people? And if yes, then in which year we have passed it? Any answers? Please remember that. Good. We have passed it in 2016. Very good. So in 2007, we have had a particular act for senior citizens as well, called as Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007. Right? Under this particular act, the state government has to set up a senior citizen home in every district. So we are going to provide the financial assistance under the National Action Plan for Senior Citizens under these particular components, right? After that, now we are going to see the next thing. The state action plan is same thing. Under this, states are also going to help support the NGOs as well as local bodies who want to set up the shelter for the senior citizens. Next is Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana. So many of you talked about this particular Yojana, right? Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana, what we are going to see, this scheme has not been discontinued. Number one thing, okay? This scheme has been submerged under the another scheme, correct? So you have to remember the components of this scheme as well. Why? Because we are going to provide the benefit anyways. Now what is the aim? Aim is all those senior citizens who are belonging to BPL category, right? They are, if they are suffering from any of the age related disability, infirmity, then we want to provide support to them, right? Who is eligible and what are the eligibility requirement. So this piece of information is literally an important piece, hence let's read it. Senior citizens, obviously, who are aging above 60 years. Percentage of SC/ST beneficiaries shall be equal to more of respective percentage of population in the district. That is how it happens in the voting as well. Suppose there is population of any district is let's say what it will be. Let's say it is 50 lakhs. Fine. Now out of this population of SC and ST beneficiaries is, let's say, 10 lakhs, right? So what is the percentage of population? 10 lakh divided by 50 lakhs. Population of SC/ST divided by population of total district. How much it will come? It will come around 20%. Fine. So this is what this scheme says. whatever is the proportion of SC/ST population to the total population, that should be support under the Rashtriya Vayoshree Yojana as well. Okay, so if in your district 20% population is SC/ST, then under Rashtriya Vayoshree Yojana you are going to provide the support of 20% to the SC/ST beneficiaries. Next, 30% of the beneficiaries shall be women. Gender based reservation we have already made. After that, senior citizens other than BPL category whose monthly income from all sources does not exceed 15,000 per month, they are also included. Now here we are including the economically disadvantaged section of our population as well. We are assuming that there can be senior citizens who are not having that much income. They should not have received the same device free of cost from the government in the last 3 years. That is the requirement that you have to comply with. Next, income certification from revenue agencies or the Manrega card holder or from MP, MLAs, councillors, etc. You can take your income certification from here in order to show that I do not have an income above than the 15,000, right? This is also you have to tell. It's fine, you can watch later on as well. That is fine. Next is see types of disabilities that we have, that can be have related to the age related things, right? Low vision, hearing impairments, loss of teeth, locomotor disability, etc, etc. It could be anything, but we have to focus on, this is not the thing that we should be remembering, not very important. We just have to remember that yes, we are providing the incentives for the age related disabilities. Now after that we are going to shift to the another piece of information, and this is important for us. What is this? This is the assistance. So maximum cost of generic devices should not exceed 15,000 per beneficiaries, and for the special items 20,000 per beneficiary. See, government also has a limitation, right? So government has limited it, that we are not going to provide you the support for the devices which are going to cost more than this. Implementing agencies, again the same implementing agency is there. Before this Rashtriya Vayoshree Yojana, we have read one more scheme. Under that, we have talked about the old age related as well as the not specifically old age related, but for the other disabled people as well. Can you tell me the name of that particular scheme? Can you tell me the name of that particular scheme? Before that, this particular Rashtriya Vayoshree Yojana, we have talked of providing the aids, the equipments to the disabled people, right? Under that particular scheme as well, LMCO was the implementing agency. I know that you might not be knowing about it right now, correct? But you have to search about it and then you have to let me know, because tomorrow also we are going to conducting the same session. See, let me complete this, then we are going to come. Okay, so we have got few of the questions. Let me complete this and then I'll answer your questions respectively, Saurabh and Dheeraj. So funding, the scheme is going to be fully financed, 100% funded by the central government from Senior Citizens Welfare Fund. So the a three-tier scheme is there. Ministry at central level, then you have also at the state level, and then you have at the local level for the giving aids and assisted living devices. Quality checks will be ensured regarding that, whatever kind of equipments that you are providing. Now let me solve the doubt that you have. So the doubts are, let me read it for all those who might be watching this. Understand this, there are two things. Whenever we talk about government schemes, yes, like why you have mentioned. So let please hear out the questions. So questions, one question is that important schemes, and the next question is that whether we have to cover the schemes those which are in the news or all the schemes. Fine. So I'm going to reply as per the sessions that we are conducting. Okay, so hear this properly. Number one thing, obviously the schemes which are in the news, they become utmost important for us. Correct, they are important for us, no doubt. You have to cover all those schemes which are in the news. But the next part is that sometimes the schemes that we are covering over here, these are all new schemes. If you are going to see the schemes we are covering or we have covered, their period of implementation is from, on an average, from the year 2021 or 2022 till the year 2025, right? So these are all the new schemes that are currently in practice, or these are currently in implementation. If I say sometimes or the other time, these schemes has to be in the news because they are new. Now speaking about your question, what you can do is, let me tell you that on a preparation wise, please focus more on the schemes which are in the news, right? You have to focus on everything, but at the same time, all those schemes which you find that okay, these are not in the news, not have been in the news, but yes, they are new schemes, correct? So please do not wait that for them to be in news. Check out the important things which are there. Now what can be important things, I'll list out for you. The important things is the under which ministry that scheme is going to be conducted. Next is the who are eligible under that particular scheme. That is also a favorite question. Third, if any electronic portal or any online portal is envisaged under that particular scheme, which is having a very fancy name, then you should focus on that as well. And apart from that, whenever you are going to read any scheme, if you watch my lectures, I keep on telling you that okay, this piece of information is important, this is not very much important, but at the same time we all have a underlying risk as well, that examiner can ask anything. But in that anything, some things are not very important. Like here, if you see these, sometimes in some schemes the implementation category becomes important. Why? Because there is some reputed person which is going to hold that particular seat. Like in the last scheme I talked about, Ministry of Union Minister of Social Justice is heading that particular seat, so it becomes important. But in this scheme, this 3-tier level is not very important for us. Why? Because there is nothing new, nothing crucial overhead, so we can just skip it. So I would like to suggest you that I can give you the idea about just the ministry related things for your current affairs as well as PIB. Rishabh sir is there. You can take guidance from him and he's going to suggest you very well because he's the one who covers all of this. Fine. Now let's move on and complete our scheme. Health and nutrition support for the indigent elders. So again you see, government is running Poshan Abhiyan. One of the person was asking me that whether Poshan Abhiyan is under Ministry of Education or Ministry of Women and Child Development. So please remember that Poshan Abhiyan is under Ministry of Women and Child Development, right? But because Poshan, whom we are targeting children, we are targeting ladies, right? So children, they are going to be in schools. We have to cover schools as well if we want to provide them nutrition. So inadvertently, Ministry of Education is going to come. And similar now here as well, you see, we are going to use Poshan Abhiyan for the senior citizens as well. So here, what is the component? We are going to identify 10,000 gram panchayats who are going to run the Poshan Abhiyan. We are going to take the help of the malnutritional problem which exists in the senior citizens, and for that daily allowances of the 20 per destitute person can be provided. Now this particular component, this is not very important, but because we are reading the scheme, we can have just a one time look over it. But apart from that, there is nothing crucial which has been provided under this particular piece. But this is the same thing I cannot tell about Rashtriya Vyoshri Yojana. Rashtriya Vyoshri Yojana wala component is very crucial for us. We have to talk about eligibility, we have to talk about funding, all of that is important, but this is not very important. After that, for the livelihood as well as the skilling of senior citizens. So see, we do not want that senior citizens should live a life of misery, right? We want them that they should be trained, we should be able to take the benefits out of them, right? We should be able to take benefits of their experience. So senior able citizens for re-employment in dignity, sacred portal. Now this becomes important. So whenever we are reading government scheme, when you are reading government scheme with me, I'm going to tell you at every step that which thing is important, which thing you should focus. Now this sacred portal, there can be a very easy question on it, that sacred portal is regarding what? And if you know about it, then you are going to get the brownie points. Fine. So under sacred portal, what we are going to do, the amount of 10 crore would be provided for the funding on the platform development and maintenance grant of 2 crore per year for 5 years for its maintenance. We are developing this portal and this grant is for this portal, right? We want to have this portal for the benefits of senior citizens related employment. And then there are some more things, action groups for the social reconstruction. Social reconstructions means, again, we are having this particular program with the aim of development SHGs in the your senior citizens, right? If they will be able to organize themselves in the self-help groups, then it is going to help them at the end of the day. So what is the benefit that we are providing to such self-help groups? See, aggressor groups. Aggressor groups, they are nothing but another name for the self-help groups which has been formed in the senior citizens, right? So each self-help group, they are going to receive an honorarium of 50,000 in 2 installments every year. Government is, that is how government is going to provide them the support so that they can form themselves under SSGs, they can look out for the new employment. And out of these two, please remember this piece of information for the aggressor group. Please remember, aggressor group is for the senior citizens, and you have to also remember sacred portal. Next, for all those NGOs who are helping these particular aggressor group, etc., there is an annual grant of 5,000 per aggressor group. After that, we are promoting silver economy. Silver economy initiative will be implemented by whom? National Institute of Social Defenses. Selected 20 startups will be provided a support of 1 crore per project. Why this support will be provided? If they come up with any particular new idea for promoting silver economy. See, people are aging. There will be a huge old age population in our country, and we want to provide them the best. There should be best of healthcare, best of support services as well, and technology can play a great role in it. Fine. How to harness their experience, how to provide them the care, this all becomes a part of your silver economy. All those products which are aiming at use by the senior citizens, right? So suppose have you heard about one particular device which detects the fall, right? So I do not remember, but a few years back, one of the IITs, they have invented that particular device, that if the senior citizens, if they fell, then that device is going to contact the emergency numbers saved. So you see how useful that product is, and hence such kind of products who aid the senior citizens, they come under the silver economy. Fine. So startups will be provided, and the total government equity in these startups should not exceed the 49%. And now the next part is our CSR funding. So CSR, corporate social responsibility, it is a mandate under the Companies Act, fine. And government is aiming that government will be able to mobilize 5,000 crores in the next 5 years from the CSR funding. This is for the companies. If you are working in society, then you have to work something for society, and that is called as the CSR funding. There is a national helpline number also, toll free number 14567, where you can contact for any problem that you are suffering as a old age person, if you do not have any home to live, etc., and any kind of abuse related problem that you might be having, you can report on it. So with that, we have summed up the schemes for today. Ministry of Social Justice is a bit longer, so please be patient with me, okay? And all these problems of yours, that how we should read ministry schemes, what we should remember, please, I can suggest you, at any point of time when you can watch my videos, please watch. At least some of the videos you should watch, where I'll be telling you that how you should approach the government schemes, right? I cannot give a list to you so that you can prepare. I cannot. Well, I am reading the scheme. At that time, I can tell you from my experience that what you should focus more on and what you can just have a read on. Okay. So with that, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you like this lecture, and please do not forget to hit the like button. Thank you so much.